If there were ever to be Autobot counterparts to the Seekers, it would be the Datsuns, a trio of Autobots that all use the same mold, that being a Fairlady Z. That includes Prowl, Bluestreak, and Smokescreen. Unlike the Seekers, they were separated by release year. Prowl and Bluestreak are 84, whereas Smokescreen is 85, a Season 2 bot. Regardless, they are often still using the same body mold, and as a result, Blokees was able to have yet another complete team very early on. Prowl and Bluestreak came in Wave 1, and Smokescreen came later on in Wave 4. How do they pair up, especially with all of those waves separating them? Prowl, Bluestreak, and Smokescreen all share the same exact build and the same exact parts. The only thing that separates them is their colors. I honestly thought that Bluestreak, Prowl, and Smokescreen all three had separate helmets, but upon closer inspection, no, they are identical. The colors and the contrast of those colors are what give them such a different appearance. I keep saying this, just like the Seekers, just like Ratchet and Ironhide. Small changes can trick the brain and convince you that they're entirely separate. That's the beauty of a good repaint. And these three, well, they've been doing good repaints for 40 years now. It only makes sense to look at Prowl first. After all, he is Optimus Prime's right-hand man. The deco here is incredible. Black and white are always colors that work well together, and little decos like the sheriff's badge on his shoulder, the police deco on his bumper, and even the little highway patrol on his shins. Little details that go a very long way. In terms of articulation, you have a ball joint at the head, ball joint for the missile launchers, ball joint for the shoulder, a swivel and a hinge for the elbow. You have a ball joint for the wrist, swivel at the waist, ball joint for the hip, hinge and swivel for the knee, ball joint for the foot. Articulation is unified across all three, but unlike the Seekers, unlike Megatron, they have no parts collision. Even their doors can swivel out of the way if you would like them to. The doors are removable, as are the missile launchers, but then that would be getting away from their traditional design. Unlike Jazz, the Datsuns were always portrayed with the doors and the missile launchers. Joining Prowl in Wave 1 was Bluestreak, and you can see the two of them are absolute valleys apart from one another, just based on how intelligent Blokees was with the color layout. Bluestreak uses his contrast to make himself look even more sharp, even younger, more dirty. Prowl looks clean, he looks professional. But past that, there's another little detail. Prowl has more tiny deco hits. Like I said, the sheriff's badge, the patrol highway, the stuff on the doors. Bluestreak looks like he has more color, and in terms of plastic, he does. But what he has more of is large open swathes of different colors. There's actually more paint on Prowl. But that's another thing, as I keep saying, a small change convinces your brain of a big difference. Of the trio, Smokescreen actually has the most paint and the most tiny details. You can see 38s on the doors, the shin design, knee design that both Prowl and Bluestreak lack. More intricate designs in both his pelvic area and his midsection. Even up towards the hood, they remembered the blue and the white near the headlights. Smokescreen is honestly one of the best painted Blokees to date, and the mold was always good. It's just amazing to me that this figure just kept getting better and better with each repaint. And frankly, that's how I've always thought of the Datsuns. Prowl is fun, Bluestreak is better, Smokescreen's the best looking. And Blokees apparently agreed with me. The trio have identical accessory loadouts, missile launchers, doors, closed fist for guns, splayed open hands, and display stands. All their guns are the same exact mold. The only difference is that Bluestreak's gun is done in gray plastic as opposed to white. The way to keep this in mind, Smokescreen and Prowl have white plastic for their sprues. Bluestreak does not. In terms of keeping Prowl and Smokescreen's guns separated, you're on your own there. The Datsuns very well might be the iconic design of the Autobots. Door wings, hood chest, missile launchers on the shoulders, everything that you picture when you think of a generic Autobot, the Datsuns created. Having the trio make for an incredible addition to any Autobot shelf, be it as generic placeholders, or a way to fill up your numbers, or even just as the great characters they are. The ARC crew doesn't feel the same without these three, and having them in the wave is just perfect. a wonderful addition and a great countermeasure to any Seekers that might be flying around.